Now, as I've mentioned in previous articles, every adult human being has a sexual operating system, or SOS, that has an enormous impact on the quality and longevity of their intimate relationships. For most people, this is a largely unconscious influence that, if left unchecked, practically dooms every relationship to eventual failure. Fortunately, we also have the ability to proactively, upgrade our SOS to greatly enhance both our intimate experiences and the chances of staying together with our significant other for the long haul. Now, in this article, we're going to explore what is possible when sharing our most intimate moments under the influence of an upgraded SOS, an experience which for many will be beyond their previous imagining. For our purposes here, I define conscious lovemaking as a physically intimate encounter when both parties have experienced an SOS upgrade. Likewise, instinctive lovemaking is defined as physically intimate encounters that are driven by the unconscious procreative urge, whether having children is the intention or not, which is essentially the realm of the default SOS. So in this context, conscious means being very aware and present, and unconscious means instinctual and visceral with respect to our intimate behavior. Clearly, there's a significant difference here, and from this point on, I will be referring strictly to the conscious version of lovemaking. Now, the first step to conscious lovemaking is, believe it or not, scheduling it. What? You've got to be kidding me. Whatever happened to spontaneity? Might be one of the first things that comes to mind when you first hear about scheduling your most intimate encounters. Ripping each other's clothes off at the first flirtatious come-hither look may seem like the ultimate turn-on, but I assure you it is but a mere shadow of what is possible when you plan your encounters. It can be the difference between 15 minutes of heavy breathing, moaning, thrusting, etc., ending in a few short seconds of explosive orgasm for at least one of you, or literally hours of exquisitely heightened sensuality that continues long after each of you experience climaxes of such power, duration, and, at least for the female partner, nearly endless multiplicity that go far beyond what most people think is even humanly possible. So the first step is to agree on a time and place that would give you both complete privacy and freedom of interruption of any kind for at least a couple of hours. You heard that right. The following next steps are what my partner and I do nearly every time. As a result, we consistently have intimate experiences that only continue to grow and become more powerful and fulfilling over time. While what follows is intended as a roadmap of sorts, feel free to add your own sense of adventure into the mix as well. Now, the first part is getting warmed up. Typically, this includes my partner and I taking a shower together. We use a loofah to scrub each other down in a loving, nurturing, sensual, yet non-sexual manner. Now, I'm kind of old-fashioned, and I have this ladies first rule. This means every time we do something intimate or pre-intimate together, I give to her first, which she so appreciates. In addition to becoming squeaky clean for each other, this process helps us become fully centered and present both in the giving and receiving, which is a critical component to our conscious lovemaking. The next thing we do is retire to the bedroom where the lighting is set to full-on romantic and soothing soft music is playing in the background. Taking turns, we give each other full body massages. Again, non-overtly sexual. The fact that neither one of us has ever had any training in this is irrelevant. All you need to do is listen and pay attention to what your partner and their body wants and be fully present as you affectionately massage them. Likewise, it's just as important to be fully present in the receiving of your partner's loving hands as they work the kinks, aches, and pains from your body. Now, this phase accomplishes three very, very important things. First, it reduces the physical tension in each of your bodies so you both can more easily and fully give and receive what is to come next. Secondly, it provides a sensual warm-up through physical touching that prepares you both for the more overt sexual stimulation that is to come afterwards. With every stroke, the receiver feels their partner's care and love. Finally, it helps prepare you to become fully present in both giving and receiving of sexual pleasure. Now that you're both fully present, warmed up, and by now quite turned on, it's time to get on with the rest of your intimate adventure. Here's a few thoughts to help you both get the most out of this part of your lovemaking. Ladies first. Women in general take much longer to warm up and are more responsive to gentle rather than frenetic stimulation, even during climax, which is, frankly, the exact opposite for most men. Also, when you give to your woman first, she is much more likely to be very enthusiastic when it comes time to reciprocate. Presence versus performance. No goals, no agenda other than to be fully present for each other in both the giving and receiving. It's important to not make having a climax a goal, otherwise you risk performance anxiety, especially in the female partner. Now, ironically, by explicitly not making it a goal, it is far more likely to happen. Treat it as an adventure. You are each two unique human beings with unique desires and sensual patterns. Treat this as an adventure of exploration, using your respective intuitions as you give and receive. You just may be absolutely astounded at what you discover, which is something that continues to happen for my partner and I to this very day. It's all about connection. As powerful as this experience is, it is not just about sex. It is about a deep connection that is happening on the emotional, physical, and even spiritual level. And if you're willing to see it within this context, your mutual pleasure and fulfillment will be multiplied many times. How you proceed to pleasure your woman is certainly up to her and you. My partner and I both prefer oral pleasuring over any other form of stimulation. And for most women, assuming they have no body self-image issues, this is typically one of the most pleasurable things you can do for her. Now, the tongue is an incredibly sensitive organ and can be the source of intense and prolonged pleasure. I've been quoted on live broadcast media interviews as saying, while the pen may be mightier than the sword, I have personally discovered that the tongue is mightier than the penis. The tongue never gets tired and is capable of exquisitely fine and subtle stimulation that is simply not available by any other means. Should you choose to pleasure your partner in this way, there are several caveats to keep in mind. First, avoid what I call Captain Crunch and Munch syndrome. Remember, slow and gentle is the preference for most women, even during climax. I literally have to fight my male brain screaming at me saying, "Go faster, go harder," when I sense my partner is near climax. For her, slow and steady is the best way, period. Also, should your partner climax and it seems she is not overly sensitive afterwards, don't stop. Keep going, but slowly. You may find that she is eventually capable of essentially an unlimited number of climaxes. Don't stop until she says stop or expresses an urgent desire to reciprocate. At this point, it is her turn to pleasure you in the way you would like. However, just be sure to be fully present in the receiving of her gift to you as well. Now, if you faithfully follow what I've just covered, chances are you will have experienced a 2 or more hour-long lovemaking session that exceeds anything either of you have ever had before. And it is just the beginning of what's possible. My partner and I have been together for over 3.5 years, and yet our intimacy is light years beyond what it was during our quote-unquote honeymoon, rip-our-clothes-off phase. And it only gets better, which continues to serve as an awe-inspiring wonderment for me. This could be the start of something truly beautiful for you and your partner, an intimate adventure that grows, deepens, and becomes more fulfilling the longer you are together.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Extraordinary Intimacy with Michael J. Russell. For all speaking, media interviews, and workshop inquiries, go to michaelrusselllive.com. For private intimacy coaching, send an email to coaching@michaelrusselllive.com.